Hi, Todd Anderson here from the Ohio River Valley District Office. Except I'm not in the office, I'm on location in Montgomery at Church of the Savior United Methodist Church, and my special guest today is Dr. Joe Galyon, who is the Director of Music and Grand Poobah Extraordinaire here at Church of the Savior United Methodist, and we are so glad we're going to talk with you today about the return of worship.
Thank you.
So Joe, welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Appreciate being with you. When this all started, it became a very complicated thing to all of a sudden not have the ability to meet together. And we've struggled a bit, but we made some changes.
We are in the season of some really interesting experimentation about going back to worship.
We've done an outside worship experience in the parking lot. That's just recent. We have done a couple of our video worship services outside. Easter was particularly nice because we did a sunrise service. And then we did an Emmaus walk in a park.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Our trustees have worked diligently with our space. They've mapped out our sanctuary. We've cordoned off sections that will allow distancing for seating. Unfortunately, at first it's distasteful to think of, but we are going to take reservations for our worship services so that we know what numbers are coming in. And kind of like a wedding reception, we're going to have seating. You're at this table, you're at this table, except that it's at this pew or this chair.
In the early history of Methodism, you had to have a ticket to get into worship. I happen to have a ticket from Great Britain because so many people wanted to flock to worship, there wasn't enough seating. And so you had to have a ticket to get into worship. So we're sort of reconnecting with some of our heritage.
The idea of contact tracing, should something happen, with the reservation system, we're able to know who was here and be able to communicate.
And folks are invited to wear masks.
We have to wear masks when we're here.
That's good. Another best practice. Now, one of the things, I know you're a musician, and you know I'm a musician too, just not a good one. But one of the things that I really miss is singing in worship. I've been actually singing to my computer with worship videos. One of the things that I've noticed is that I spit when I sing, especially like on consonants. Now, if we could just sing vowels, or words with vowels, which there are hardly any, we would be okay. But when you close that D, the T, the S, all of those things, I've discovered that that's something that happens when I preach. I preached from that pulpit right over there before, and I noticed that I was expelling liquid from my mouth as I was preaching. And while that's gross, that's the reason for the masks, and that's the reason for not singing.
The singing piece came on early in terms of disappointment for musicians, but also for congregations. If we can't sing, I at least want the people to be able to hum. Humming does not use consonants. That's what causes the projectile. I did speak with a pulmonologist in our congregation about the aerosol. That was new for me. We create aerosol just even breathing through our nose. So the humming piece made sense to me, that at least we can move that part of our body and release the music through making our bodies sing that way. I just this week read an article where from the Catholic Church where there was an offering that the cantor would be the intercessory singer for the congregation.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's a beautiful expression. We talk about intercessory prayer
all the time.
Why not intercessory singing?
I like it. I like it. Music, which was always about making an offering to God, it's not about you, but it's making an offering to God. And that there would be one who would offer oneself on behalf of the congregation to God is a very cool thing. So obviously, this is an unpeeling onion. Things are changing often. In fact, yesterday we received an email from the bishop that our entire annual conference will now be online. As you think about returning to worship here at Church of the Savior, and as we think about it in the district, are there any last pieces that you might want to add about some best practices that you're aware of?
We are planning for our worship leaders to be on the chancel in our space about a 20-foot distance. And we will not wear masks as leaders while we're speaking or singing, so that the articulation of the text is understood, because if you're not conveying articulate text, typically aren't leading people to the understanding. We hope to soon bring our handbell choir in, because that doesn't require singing, and use them in a space situation where they can also be a musical leadership. The directive to not have spoken liturgy. For me, I'm still a little bit torn on how we're going to do that. If we're wearing masks, I don't know. Do we try it? I mean, that's the thing that...
The question has come up about, are people in the congregation allowed to respond? I think that the answer would be yes, given the following guidelines. They need to have a mask on, and they need to be socially distanced at 6 feet or more. It shouldn't be long paragraphs. So if we're thinking about the liturgy, they are not long paragraphs. They're very short responses, and I think that that would be perfectly fine. I think that that will really make people feel better.
Right.
But also, it's about being safe, and we want to do that too.
Perfect.
One of the other best practices that we're talking about is the length of worship. We've learned from scientists that the length of time that people are together make persons more susceptible to C19. So worship should be considered to be shorter. So the best practices that I'm hearing from around the life of the conference are somewhere between 20 and 40 minutes in length.
Our video worships have averaged out to be about 30 minutes each time, and we're taking that same format into our live setting when we start out to find out how it goes.
I think that's a good practice. And the other thing that I've noticed from talking with pastors is that they're increasing the number of opportunities that they have for worship. Again, the piece that we're working on is to be socially distant, to make sure that we're making agency and allowing local churches to create their policies that are going to work best in their context, because we have 120 contexts in our district. Since I'm holding my mask, I want to really encourage you to wear your mask and cover your mouth and cover your nose. I've been noticing a lot of people not covering their nose. But remember the pulmonologist, what he said? So we're spraying with our nose as we take each breath. So cover your mouth, cover your nose. It's the gift that you can give away to someone else.
It's been a pleasure to be with you, Todd.
It's been good to be together. I'm delighted that we can share this time with you, and we look forward to hearing your comments. And if you have any questions, contact me at the district office, either by phone or by email, and we'll be glad to reach back out to you. Thank you.